Hello, my name is Nuris, and today my group and I will be presenting Can Online Learning Bend the Higher Education Costs? So, online learning is actually a method of learning that is conducted on the internet. Its history can be traced back from the 18th century, and due to the rapid growth of of communication technology, online learning can be seen developing too. So in 2016 alone, there are 6.3 million people that are taking their degrees using the online learning method. So last year, the globe was shocked with a global pandemic called COVID-19. So most of the sectors had to be closed down or shifted into another method. So higher education had actually chose the online learning method because it can reach students that are living from afar. So it is as if like students don't need to pay extra fees for dormitories and all. So it can it bend the higher education costs? Because higher education costs is constantly raising, and it's concerning the parents and also politicians as well. In 2019, UTM was actually wrapped in a rumor because they are raising their education fees. Due to that, the public had a sour reaction, and because it the students were highly affected because of it. So can it bend the higher education system? Through our research, our paper says no, it cannot bend the higher education costs because it is actually expensive to curate them. However, there are methods to make it cheaper, but these methods are not as efficient as the ones that are costly. So again, it cannot bend. Online learning cannot bend the higher education costs. So our first reason we will look at through the results of two surveys. The first survey is called Chloe 2, where there are 23% agree that online learning is much more expensive compared to traditional learning. The second survey says the second survey, which is called the WCET, says that 54.2% that said when extra fees are added, online learning is students have to pay more than traditional learning students.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Kamilia and I will continue my session with the second and the third reason. The second reason is because it requires a high cost to develop online classes. Most of the students are not aware that they still need to pay fees that related to the creation of classes. Creating a new platform can be costly as it needs a lot of components like time to search and to test the code. However, it is true that online students didn't need to pay face-to-face students such as healthcare, recreational facilities, dormitories, and parking lot because they didn't go to the campus and use the facility provided. Besides that, online learning methods are also diverse and have different costs. The teacher always become the center of the knowledge, but now online learning started to replace them. One of it is adaptive learning, a system where it adjusts itself to suit the student needs. It may look easy, but it requires lots of work to make it successful, which is costly and increase the fees. Lastly, the reason why online learning cannot ban higher education cost is due to the additional cost. There are many methods and steps used to ensure that learning can be delivered well, such as asynchronous classes, flipping the classroom, and live sessions. Uh, this method allows students to access education at home and as a result eliminates travel and accommodations. It happened because there are many people involved behind the scan to shape and to make online learning successful. But their time are not for free. It needs to be paid in the form of salary for their service. This is the additional cost that students did not realize. Uh, Other example of additional cost is cost material, tutorial survey, and student support, and others. The main reason why college focus on online learning because they want to increase their as a whole learning, not to lower the cost of education. Hence, online learning only beneficial to these students at far distance and not for all students. That's all from me. Now I'm going to pass my stage to the next presenter. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Siti and Zahirah. So I want to continue with the counter argument. Even though the cost learning is uh, the online learning is very costly, but there is a few methods that can be done to reduce the cost of online learning. One of the methods is to improve the learning outcomes and increase the student reach by enhancing through different forms of online interaction and increase the access of online learning. There is an adaptive learning system that can be adapted where the system provides feedback and adapt better to the needs of the student once they interact with the software. Besides, in this modern era, lectures can explore interactive potential by using software with formats such as video games, simulators, video, and digital books to hand out the learning materials to the student. This will allow them to consume the information at their own pace, when and where they need it. For example, lecturers can use the platforms such as YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook to interact with the students, where it was well known that the younger people nowadays use these platforms a lot in their daily life. So it will not only benefits to the learning progress, but it also cut down the cost of the materials. Thus, there are many free software and digital books that are available on the internet. And usually, the books that can be purchased digitally are more cheaper and easily to access. Therefore, it can decrease the cost of online learning for the students. While it may be true that improving the learning outcomes during online learning can be more cost-saving, but this approach is less clear-cut than the costly online learning techniques because these methods relates primarily to the purchasing and maintaining the technology alone and does not address the recurring costs. It needs the methodological approach that regulates multiple parameters in some situations in addition to being able to show the costs. So, a lot of research and case study need to be done too before jumping to the conclusion and generalization. So that's all from me.
Hello, I'm Farhana. So to conclude, in conclusion, pursuing education is not always cheap, even with the online method, and going through the reasons stated, we can clearly see that online learning is not 100% cheaper than traditional learning, and it doesn't bend the higher education costs. Bringing this method of education into the world of institutions requires a lot of money. Data results from surveys mentions tells us an understanding that online learning can even be more expensive than traditional learning itself. More so, the cost in making it happen not only affect its users' wallets, but also the staff handling its online platforms. Hence, it is crucial to be aware of this issue, not only to clear out misconceptions on online learning, but also for our future preparations. Try to imagine what might happen in the near future and how that environmental changes could affect us. Maybe in the near future, an environmental like now could occur again, and we'll have to cling to our laptops and desktops while going through online learning, which may be added to more electricity costs. Or there might be an AI takeover, replacing teachers. But by then, are we ready for these future predictions? Thank you